Hi, in this tech tip, we are going to reassemble our Ruger American Rifle Generation 2 from this pile of parts. We'll start by taking our barreled action, setting it up, and then simply placing the stock back over it. I generally line up the trigger and I can look right through the hole for the trigger in the stock to set the rifle down. We'll take our magwell. This is an AI style magwell, but whether yours looks the same or different, we're just putting the magwell back down in the gun. I can see that the bolt holes are aligned. The rear screw is already captive to this assembly, so simply reinstalling the front screw into the stock. Before we use the tool, we'll wear safety glasses, and using the same 3/16 ball and wrench we took the rifle apart, we can put it back together. It's best to tighten these screws just a little bit at a time. First the front, and then with this AI latch, we can push the latch forward to reach in for the rear action screw. We'll tighten that like the first one to about hand tight. And then ideally we would use a torque wrench to tighten both screws alternatingly to between 60 and 80 inch-pounds. For the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to call that tight. Now we can set the rifle aside and reassemble our bolt. At this point, your cocking piece may still be lined up with the bolt handle, or you may have moved it back to the detent position. So just remember that we want the cocking piece aligned with the back of the bolt handle. We come on about 1/4 inch to the rear of the shoulder, drop the shroud over until it's lined up as a circle, and it should slide forward. And to retain it, we'll rotate the handle back. To see that from a different angle, this is a counterclockwise rotation if you're looking at the end of the bolt. Now our bolt is complete. We can insert it into the rifle. We want to make sure that the safety selector is in safe with one white bar exposed. And sometimes it's easier to turn the bolt over. So the bolt knob is on the left. We can insert it in the back of the receiver. As we slide it forward, we rotate the bolt knob up and over. We can hear that it clicked into the bolt stop, and the bolt can move into battery. So at this point, we've successfully reassembled the Ruger American Generation 2 rifle, but we need to check its function. So we'll start, again, making sure that the rifle is empty, and we have a safe direction to dry fire. And we'll first move the safety selector to the safe lock position. That's all the way to the rear with 2 white bars exposed. In this position, we want to make sure that when we pull the trigger, nothing happens. We don't hear the click of the rifle firing, and that the bolt is locked, prevented from opening up. We move the safety selector forward 1 notch to expose 1 white bar. And in this position, we can function the bolt handle, but when we pull the trigger, it still does not fire. And then finally, move the safety all the way forward to fire. 1 red bar is visible. The bolt can still be cycled. And when we pull the trigger, we hear that the firing pin has dropped. At this point, we can cycle the gun a few times, making sure everything feels normal. When we're on fire, the firing pin falls, and that we understand how the safety is operating. At this point, we'll set the rifle aside on safe for a moment. Go back to the magazine, make sure it's the right magazine, that the follower moves freely, that the spring is working. And then finally, insert it into the rifle, making sure that it goes in, that it latches, and that when we manipulate the magazine release, that we can get the magazine back out of the rifle. Thank you for watching this Ruger Tech Tip. For more information about your Ruger American Rifle Gen 2, visit Ruger.com.